Welcome back to the Overdose Composable Commerce Summit APAC. Thank you so much for joining us live today. Today we have gone through the back-end text, we've gone through the front-end text, and now it's time for our content management systems. I would like to start off with Arjun from Contentful. So Contentful. These guys help digital teams assemble content and deliver experiences faster. They launch new digital products, build new channels, they enter new markets with this content platform that grows alongside your business. If you want to build efficiently, deliver multi-channel experiences with content delivery, and of course with management APIs, SDKs, and purposefully built apps. If you want to adapt to those business needs, you need to increase the flexibility. So they've got a content management system that enables custom workflows while also integrating seamlessly with other services. You can scale seamlessly by growing digital and content operations globally on an enterprise-ready platform that meets compliance and, of course, security standards. Arjun, Ganesh, who's here today, is passionate, obviously, about digital experiences that have personalization, localization, regionalization, experimentation, and is built on modern tech stack with that high speed to market. Arjun is bringing 20 years of experience working in tech to build, mentor, and grow out his team, while also creating and leading these strategic initiatives cross-functionally to scale the business, increase revenue, and enhance customer experience. Today, he's going to share a little story with you. His 7-year-old ordered and got a blue squeezie yogurt delivered. What tech was needed for this experience? How does Contentful fit into that landscape? He's also going to be discussing building modern customer shopping experiences using Contentful and surrounding ecosystems of services. So right now, I'd like to please welcome the Senior Manager and the Professional Services for North America and APAC at Contentful, Arjun.
Thanks, Raven. That was a great intro. So I can't top Raven's intro, but recapping, my name is Arjun Ganesh. I manage the professional service team at Contentful. I cover the North America and APAC regions. I'm actually based in Sydney. And I'm here to, as Raven mentioned, to talk about how Contentful can power your e-commerce experience so well that even a 7-year-old can order from your app or your site. And to start with, I'm going to talk about what my 7-year-old daughter did a few days ago. So she was looking for a bluey vanilla flavored squeezie yogurt in the fridge. She couldn't find it. So she went ahead and told Google Assistant to add it to the shopping list. And then she picked up the iPad, opened the app of one of the major supermarket chains here in Australia, and she finalized the order, and she got it delivered the next day. As simple, easy, and as seamless as that. How was it possible for a 7-year-old to order groceries and get it delivered? So, one, conversational shopping. So she didn't need to know how to spell yogurt. So she just told Google Assistant to add it. Two, my PayPal was linked already to the account. So she didn't have to worry about payment methods and credit cards and so on. And finally, I have an annual subscription with this grocery chain, and I get free next day delivery. So she had fewer steps, fewer decision processes, and she was able to order this grocery and get the yogurt delivered. Not many of you might want your kids to do that, but this, I just wanted to highlight the experience, because that experience is why I don't step into a supermarket these days. I get my groceries delivered on a regular basis because it's so easy. So to achieve this holistic experience, what kind of architecture is needed underneath, or what does the architecture look like hypothetically? So there's probably a CMS like Contentful, a headless CMS that powers the content. So when my daughter spoke to Google Assistant and asked to add to the shopping list, the responses and the questions could potentially be powered by the CMS. And when she launched the iOS app on the iPad, so the user interface, the banners, the content, the product information, etc., all that can be powered by Contentful. And if you want to go to the website as well, this supermarket has blogs and recipes and stuff powered by a CMS on their website. So all that is possible to have, such an enriched experience. But additional to this, you need like a email SMS gateway for notifications, a commerce platform similar to Shopify or commerce tools or whatever your choice is to power the shopping cart experience. And that could also act like a PIM, or if you're a large organization like the supermarket, you might have a PIM of your own, like a proprietary build. And all this can be tied together using JavaScript on Node, running on Lambdas, and some kind of a React front end, or whatever framework and language your developers choose. And also like these apps like Twilio, Shopify, etc., are integrated with the CMS so that they can pass content back and forth. So, implementing this architecture, they're all SaaS tools, best of breed. They all talk to each other. They're all constantly updated. Most of these, including Contentful, release code on a regular basis. So they're always current. And they use the latest framework. They give flexibility for your editors. They give flexibility for your developers to go ahead and innovate. So this is what constitutes to composable commerce. And this falls inside the bigger architecture umbrella that we call as MAC architecture. So what does MAC stand for? Microservices-based, API-first, cloud-native SaaS, and headless architecture. So as I called out, Contentful fits nicely in here. It provides all those integration needs you need, all the flexibility and the speed that is required for editors and developers. And the manifesto for MAC pretty much is the same. So the modern commerce has evolved. Consumers demand more. So you need these best of breed tools that cater for these demands tied together, which is what the MAC Alliance tries to achieve. And again, I want to stress on the fact that it gives complete empowerment to your editors and your developers to achieve the speed to market. So I'm going to touch on architecture more later, but before I do that, for those of you who are not familiar with Contentful, what is Contentful? So Contentful is a content platform that can power your content globally across all channels. How do we achieve this? So we have a platform with a suite of apps that your content creators can use to create content, to localize content, regionalize it, or enrich it with other services like DAM and etc. And the same platform has a suite of SDKs, APIs, developer tools that your developers love. And they can use any language framework of choice to build mobile apps, web apps, digital signage, in-store experiences, whatever the channel might be, including Alexa and Google Assistant. Content inside Contentful is stored as structured content. What I mean by that is each image, text, videos, whatever you're putting inside the repository, we store it inside content types. You can think of it as Lego blocks that you can use to build any digital experience or digital property. So in this screenshot, I've got these 4 components, what we call as entries, combined together to form a website. But the same, hero image or the product, highlighter product, CTAs, etc., can be reused across other channels like mobile or across other sites or across other pages. So it's you kind of have an art on how you can structure content and chunk it up so that it can be reused while being able to put together to achieve digital experiences. So to do this, we give your editors a web app. So the web app is extremely powerful, flexible, easy to use, a React-based app. But if your developers if your content creators come from more like a page-centric based editing experience, then they can use our app called Compose. And there might be your content stakeholders who are in charge of bundling content together, managing it, scheduling a release, probably for Boxing Day sale or Black Friday sale. then they can use launch to manage those releases and schedule them, weeks and days or months out. So why Contentful as a CMS? So Contentful is one of the most flexible and extensible platform. So we give you the underlying scaffolding to customize the user experience and the underlying scaffolding to build any kind of customer experience that you would like to build. And this gives that speed to market. This helps you build pages and apps that are fast because it's all API based, lightweight. The content is delivered globally using CDNs. And your IT team, they need not worry about reliability and scalability when it comes to that big launch day. If you have a big promotion going on one of these major sale days, or if you're launching a big product and you're expecting millions of users to hit your site, we provide that reliability and scalability for you. And I want to say that, the proof on this graph shows developers love Contentful. So according to NPM, the JavaScript SDK downloads for Contentful is over 300,000 per week, which is like, more than 40 times the next closest, which is sitting around the 8,800 per week. So that proves how popular and the need for your developers for a flexible, extensible platform that gives them full independence. So Contentful currently is used by 31% of the Fortune 500 companies. We power over 30,000 global websites at the moment. We have over 600,000 active users. And this slide was put together a while back, and this changes every day. It's most likely outdated. We are a fast-growing company. We have over 800 employees globally. And we're also very proud that we get about 30 billion API calls per month. So coming back to, why content is important for your e-commerce experience. So last weekend, I was drinking a can of Negroni. It's the first time I'm drinking Negroni from a can. And I really enjoyed it. And I looked up the product. It was being sold by a very hip bar in the inner west of Sydney. I deliberately removed any branding and images here because the point I'm trying to make is they had a sleek website. It was built on Shopify. And I looked it up. One of the main ingredients was strawberry gin inside this Negroni. I never really pictured myself as a strawberry gin kind of a guy. So I'm like, well, maybe I should try strawberry gin. And I'm looking at this page for the strawberry gin. It's $79 for 500 mils. I want to make sure that this is something I'm going to enjoy, but nothing on the page gave me any indication that I'm going to enjoy this drink because there's no tips on how to drink it. There's no feedback, and there was no recipes linked to this product. So I did a Google, found it on a website of one of the major liquor store chains here in Australia. Their website was more or less the same, but they at least had reviews. And a whole bunch of them had given 5-star reviews. And the comments they made talked about like how they drank it, what they mixed with it. And that kind of gave me confidence that I'm going to enjoy this product. So I went to the local store and picked it up. So they still got my business, but they lost out on converting me on their own homepage, on their own site. So this is what I mean by enriching your e-commerce content with additional, reviews, blogs, editorial content is builds that emotional bond with your customers. It kind of excites them and increases conversion rates and directly impacts your profit. So I'm going to jump into the Contentful demo environment that I've got over here and make some minor tweaks. This is just, again, scratching the surface. Let me just go ahead and show you what it looks like. I'm inside the Contentful space, and I've created some content types for the purpose of this. So content types is where we store the content that I create, as well as the content types that, as well as the content that comes across from the commerce platform. And I've created some sample content for the purpose of this demo, added some images, And I've integrated Shopify with this, and I'm going to touch on that more later. So this base powers this e-commerce site. You can see it's got a nice top hero, mosaic of product collections like watches, menswear, womenswear, few featured products with CTAs, and the products that's trending this week. So imagine if I'm the editor or I'm the marketer of this company. I'm looking at the products trending this week, and I'm thinking, well, the leather sneakers is not selling much this week. It was selling last week, so let's go make some changes. So I'm going to find my homepage. So let's go into my content tab and pick up the landing page, and there's my homepage. So this is what content inside Contentful looks like. And as you can see, there are different chunks of content put together to create the homepage. If I scroll all the way down, I've got the trending this week component, or what we call as entries. And this is integrated with Shopify. So this content that you see here, these products are coming from Shopify. And again, you can use any commerce platform of choice, commerce tools or Slackwall or anything you would like. So I'm going to click on this, and this dialog here directly pulls all the products from Shopify. And we want to remove the leather sneakers, add another scarf, maybe add this clutch, and go ahead and save this. So all we are saving inside Contentful from Shopify are the IDs or the SKUs of the product. My front end is stitching the content from Contentful and from Shopify. So I'm going to publish this, jump back onto my homepage, and that's refreshed already. So here we go. Here's the sneakers is gone. I've added a new scarf. I also added a new clutch. So that's how quick your marketing staff can edit your homepage. And if I want to go ahead and look at a product page, like let's look at the denim jackets PDP. And the information that you're seeing here is all from Shopify. I've got the image, the name, I've got the price and the size, all from Shopify, and Shopify provides the shopping cart experience. So this is okay. And the point I made earlier, you want to enrich this page as much as possible to appeal to your customers, to build a bond and excite them. So how do we do that? So let's go find this denim jackets product page. All right, so here's my denim jacket. And I'm going to add some content that's already been created and exists in here that's very generic to jackets. So as you can see, there's a section called product details. And I'm going to find some existing entries that might enrich this content that's kind of like generic related to jackets. So here you go. So there's jackets details and care. Let's add that. And maybe one more. Maybe something around the size. So if I find one, okay, size and fit. And I'm going to publish these changes. Go back to my site, and it's been refreshed already. And here it is. So there's a couple of accordions here which talks about additional information, details and care, size and fit. And again, I want to stress that for the purpose of a live demo, I just kept it very simple here. But a lot of our customers do many magical things using Contentful's capabilities. I actually recently had a customer, most of their products are worn by celebrities, and they wanted their marketing staff to daily highlight any product on their homepage that has been worn by a celebrity, and write a blurb about it or write some kind of an editorial content talking which celebrity, what they wore, and what they did, and so on and so forth. And they achieved it using Contentful. So that was an interesting use case. One thing that we see more and more happen is, e-commerce sites with editorial content like this one, Weekend in Florence, and customers are starting to embed more products inside the editorial content. For example, you can embed like any kind of Italian products or anything related to Florence in these paragraphs, or make a section out of it. And again, I'm going to keep it simple for the purpose of a live demo, and add a product at the end with a CTA. So let's go find this editorial content. And I'm going to search for any kind of landing pages with Florence. There it is. And here's a top section. There's an optional extra section. So I'm going to add an existing product that kind of relates to, maybe this one, runway fashion. So I'm going to insert this one entry, publish the changes, and launch that site again. So here we go. So hopefully the featured product or the CTA that I added is at the bottom, right there. So runway fashion, shop now. Again, simple changes. You can do a lot more editorial content, bring lots of traffic to your website, and your editors can work magic converting that traffic into a successful order. So let's jump back into the deck. And for the technical folks out there, so this is what my demo architecture looks like. So it's a Contentful Shopify integration with a Next.js frontend running on Vercel. The platform itself has a whole bunch of other SaaS tools integrated. I mean, I don't have enough time to walk you through all that, but again, reach out to us if you have any questions. So what is involved in integrating Contentful and your commerce platform? So once you have your Contentful space, you can hop onto a marketplace and find the app that is required for your commerce platform. So if you're using commerce tools or Shopify, so pick the app, install it. It's going to ask you for an access token and an API endpoint. Chuck it in. You need to select the content that comes from your commerce platform. You need to map that to a field or an entry or a content type inside Contentful. So go ahead and select which content types and which fields. And that's it. The whole process should take you no more than 2 to 5 minutes. And you can start playing around with content from the commerce platform inside Contentful, just like I did in the demo environment. So if our demo environment, the demo I did was a static site. So if you're interested in static sites, so how can you integrate? How can you build? What's a typical implementation of Contentful on a static site? So before I do that, I just wanted to touch on Jamstack. So how does Jamstack fit? So Jamstack stands for JavaScript API Markup, and it was coined by Netlify a few years ago. Netlify is part of the Mark Alliance now, along with us, and Jamstack kind of fits nicely inside the Mark. Mark kind of builds on top of Jamstack, and they're all essentially composable platforms. So very similar to the architecture I showed you on the demo environment. So integrate your commerce platform and Contentful, and content from each of these platforms can be stitched together using a framework like Next.js. Again, that's what I use, but your developers might prefer something else. And then you can host it on a platform like Vercel or Netlify, anything that your developers or your architects like. So the advantage of a static site, pretty straightforward. Static sites are pre-built and they're hosted, cached on a CDN and delivered from a CDN. So it's extremely fast sites page loads. And since it's a pre-built static site, Google crawler loves it for SEO. And they're great for if you have thousands of SKUs, or if you have multiple product lines you want to independently manage, you want a seamless architecture across these product lines, or if you're geographically distributed across the world and you have content creators in different locations managing different products, static site architecture helps. It's very light, it's cheap. But there is the one drawback of a static site is the build time, because the entire site needs to be built each time. This is especially frustrating for your content creators, because every time they edit content and they try to preview it, they need to wait for the site to build. And depending on how big your site is, this could be from minutes to hours. And there are a few ways to mitigate this, depending on what you use. And on the Next.js Vercel platform, we mitigated it using Vercel's incremental static regeneration feature, ISR. It is built on top of Next.js's incremental static generation feature. Vercel created Next.js, so it works really well. And in a nutshell, what this is you can build on a per page basis. So if you have 1,000 pages, you can choose the top 100 pages your customers visit often and just build that each time. So it's quick, a few seconds or a minute. So it's not frustrating your editors, and it's not taking too long to deploy new changes. The remaining 900 pages can be built on demand. So when the first customer asks for it, you can build it, and it might take a few seconds, but subsequently it is cached and delivered from a CD, and so it's pretty fast. So that's one way to mitigate the static sites build time. So if static sites are not for you and you prefer a dynamic site, how do you go about integrating Contentful? So a few ways. The one on the left, you can have your Shopify content fully duplicated, if I may say, or fully integrated into Contentful, and Contentful kind of acts as the front end for your site. And Shopify just provides or any commerce platform just provides your checkout. And on the right, you have the other way around, the inverse, where your content is curated in Contentful, but pushed to your commerce platform. And then that acts as the front end for your main page. The one in the middle is the one that we see more often and the one that we recommend. So you have your content in Contentful. Contentful does best with all your campaign pages, enriching your product details page, your landing page, your blogs, your FAQs, your terms and conditions, and all those, which is highlighted here in a blue box. And then you have the content coming from a commerce platform like price, size, inventory, that's here in the green boxes. And then your front end stitches it nicely together. This is by far the most popular choice. You can see why. You get the best of both worlds. So to kind of wrap it up, should a 7-year-old be able to order from your site? Maybe, maybe not. If you're selling strawberry gin, you probably don't want a 7-year-old ordering from your site. But should your customers have such an easy, seamless experience that even a 7-year-old will be able to order using your site, then yes, the more easy it is to order from your site, the more conversion, the more profit for your company. So these are, if you want to build a site like that, so some key points to think about. Have that seamless blend of content and commerce, which Contentful enables you to achieve. Give that power to your content creators to enrich your site. And page loads is key. So every additional second your customer is waiting for, you're losing about 7 to 10% of conversion. So high performance. So give that power to your developers to build slick, easy, lightweight mobile apps or websites. So let them choose the latest and greatest framework so that they can achieve this performance. Scalability. When Contentful, we've had campaigns in the middle of Super Bowl or in the middle of big gaming launches where we've had like 8 to 10 million users hitting the site of our customers and hitting Contentful directly. That's the power of delivering content via content infrastructure like Contentful, via CDNs. So your IT team does not have to worry about scalability. Mobile first optimization. Recently, majority of the internet content usage in the USA is from mobile devices, and majority of that subset is from apps and not just mobile-friendly sites. So think about that seamless experience between a website and a mobile app, which Contentful enables you to achieve. My daughter added a product to a shopping cart in one device and accessed the same shopping cart from a different device and finalized it. So think about that experience. And coming back again to that merchandiser velocity, so removing any kind of roadblocks or technology blocks for your content creators so that they are churning out content that's current, in tune with the market, and constantly updating your site. And wrapping up with, again, giving your developers the flexibility and the power so that they can constantly create new user experiences for your customers. And if you're interested in all of this and you'd like to learn more, please reach out to Contentful or the professional service team. If you have any specific queries that you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me via LinkedIn. And if you are working with ASI like Overdose, reach out to Overdose. They can help you with this as well. So thank you very much, and thank you for joining my session. Thank you, Overdose, for hosting us. I'm going to hang around for an additional 10 minutes or so to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much. We have got a question that's just come through.
Cool. Thanks, Raven.
I'll drop them in for you now.
So here's the question. You mentioned NPM package downloads were high for Contentful in hybrid delivery architecture. How exactly content can be pulled from Contentful in terms of technology standpoint? Is it a JavaScript app or some middleware technologies like Java, J2E? Especially how would it fit into enterprise architecture for large e-commerce platforms if you think JavaScript is going to be both front end and back end for front end sort of application? Okay, that's a long question. So, but I think I know the answer. So, most large enterprises these days, they usually use Node running on Lambda function or similar. That does most of the business logic for their front end to consume, especially if you have like complex integrations tying in multiple services at the middleware. JavaScript is by far the most popular SDK that our customers use. Next.js is the most, React and Next.js are the most popular front-end frameworks that our customers use. But saying that, we have .NET SDKs and we have PHP, Ruby SDKs. So if your developers want to use any of that, they can. But we see fewer and fewer enterprise organizations use legacy, middleware to stitch different components together. I'm not saying it's not done. It is. There are still customers who do that. So if you want to use like Java, J2E, you can. We also have a Java SDK. But definitely the trend is JavaScript, Node, middleware, JavaScript framework like Next and React for the front end, and all that running on like on the cloud. I hope I answered the question. Please follow up if I didn't with more questions, and I can help clarify. Any related questions from anyone else?
I think that's all we've got. Thank you so much, Arjun, and thank you to Contentful for being a part of our event today.